Alright, so in this video, I want to share with you a 4-step framework that I follow to turn the attention that I generate in my content into clients. If you've been seeing my stuff at all, I preach that the best way to scale a coaching or consulting business right now is to combine YouTube with Instagram. YouTube is meant to make very niche style content that attracts and provides value to your ideal client. And then you use Instagram to do what I really coined this, sell in silence, okay? So what do I mean by this? You attract people on YouTube and then you direct those people to Instagram because in the DMs is where you do the majority of your selling. So you're able to still have goodwill with your audience and you're able to sell in silence and provide value out loud in public, okay? This is what I do. This is what my clients do. I've been able to book hundreds, if not 1,000+ appointments and sales calls in both my agency and my coaching business now. And so what I'm going to give you right now is kind of the step-by-step process that I teach clients and that I teach my setter to do in the DMs to actually convert people when they come from YouTube. So the first thing that I want to kind of give you is the framework that I follow, and then we're going to break this down. So the first thing, and this is something I've learned from mentors in the past, is what I call the ACA framework, okay? Now, what is the ACA framework? It's basically a way to handle the messages in your Instagram DMs to understand what you should be doing throughout the conversation. A lot of people, will tell you like, hey, sell through your Instagram DMs, set appointments through your DMs. What does that actually look like? Like, how do you actually do that? It's by following this framework. The first step to this framework is to acknowledge. So it doesn't matter what the prospect says, you want to acknowledge their situation and the response and what they said in their message. So if somebody opens up to you and a prospect tells you about their current situation and how they're struggling and maybe they're dealing with stuff with their family or whatever it is, you better acknowledge that. You better really understand and like show them that you care. A lot of people do this. I review some DMs from some clients, and I see some people that'll do like an interview style DM setting process where they'll ask a question, the prospect will give a huge response, and then the guy will say, okay, great, next question. And it feels like an interview, and nobody wants to be doing an interview in the Instagram DMs, right? You don't want to be in an interview in your DMs. If you're telling somebody your current situation and what you're struggling with and where you want to go and X, Y, and Z, you want these people to acknowledge where you're at, and that's the first step to this. It doesn't matter what you're saying. In whatever message you send, the first step is to acknowledge. The second step is compliment. And I put a little star next to this because this is the only step that's not actually required in the ACA framework. The first thing you do in your message is you acknowledge, and based off what the prospect actually said, you might want to throw in a compliment there. It could be a compliment business related. It could be a compliment outside of business. And I talk about this a lot. One of the big reasons why people work with me as opposed to the next guy is because they relate to me outside of business and my interests and what I do. And so if you could find something to tie you and the prospect together outside of business, that's actually very powerful. But you could even compliment like their client wins that they're posting on their Instagram, or you could compliment their service. You could compliment, how their Instagram profile looks. It doesn't really matter. You could compliment based off what they told you in the actual message they sent you. But you want to acknowledge what they said. You want to then give them a compliment on something if this is fit, right? If they don't give you something that you can compliment on, don't just throw a compliment in there. And then the last part of the ACA framework is to ask a question. This is the biggest mistake I see people make in the Instagram DMs when they're setting, is people will end a response without asking a question. If you don't ask a question at the end, you are asking the conversation to die out. Okay, you have to be asking a question. You have to be knowing more about where they're at, where they want to go to get to the end goal of actually getting them on a call or closing them in the DMs. Okay, so make sure in every single message you're acknowledging, potentially giving them a compliment, and then asking them a question. But to go a layer deeper with me, I need you to stick around because I have a few more steps to kind of break this down. The second thing in actually fulfilling this framework is using what I call friction-based questions. So what does this mean? This is how we actually go about doing this step, which is asking a question. And I'll give you some examples. I actually typed these out for you here. If, let's say, you're messaging somebody or somebody's trying to get you on a call, right? And you guys just started going back and forth in the DMs, and the guy asks you, let's say your name's John, like, John, do you have 5K to work to, you know, get my help right now? This is a high friction question. This is a very extreme question to show you what I mean by this. John, do you have 5K to get my help right now? Very high friction question. And you could replace the word friction with direct. It's a very direct question. So you want to start the process with indirect questions. You go indirect and then you work your way to direct until, and you know when to stop is when they give you a pain point to tie back to a call. Hope this is making sense, right? You have an example of a high friction question. What's an example of a low friction question? I got you. Super low friction question. So John, tell me what you're currently doing for work right now. This is an example of a low friction, very indirect question, right? This is a question that everybody would be open to answering. Yo, tell me what you're currently doing for work, man. I'm super curious, right? Very low friction, very indirect question versus, hey, do you have 5K because I want you to sign up right now? Very high friction question. Which one is your prospect more likely to respond to? That's a problem a lot of people do, is they ask purely high friction questions and then the prospect ghosts them and they're wondering, hey, why am I getting ghosted? Why is nobody responding to me? It's like, hey, maybe you're going too hard. It's very similar to dating, right? If you come out of the gates and let's say you're hitting up some chick on Instagram and I don't know, you're asking her to like marry you or something or to like come over right away, they're probably not going to respond. But if you're trying to get to know them and you're just asking lower friction questions, they're open to a conversation and then eventually you get the first date and then you keep going more direct, right? So I hope you really need to understand this. Friction-based questions has helped me set so many freaking appointments, and don't undermine this. You start with indirect questions and then you get more and more and more direct until they actually reveal a pain point to you. So to tie this point back together, look at this example, okay? Let's say I'm DMing a prospect. I'll start with an indirect question. And by the way, this isn't me following the ACA framework. I'm just talking about the questions right here. So I wouldn't do it exactly like this, but let's say I ask someone, what do you do? And they respond to me, hey, you know, I do X, Y, and Z, right? I might ask, you know, I'm not even acknowledging right now, just the question part. How's that been going? Let's say they tell me, you know, oh, it's going all right. They're not giving me a tangible pain point that I could say, hey man, I'd love to help out. You see, some people will. And that's the thing, is that there is no one way to do it. But look, this is like super indirect, still indirect. But they haven't revealed a pain point to me. Some people, you might ask, how's that been going for you? Right? And I really like it like that. How's that been going for you? And instead of saying, oh, it's going all right, they'll say, man, it's been terrible. You know, our ads aren't profitable. You know, we might go out of business, and you just see like flashing red freaking signals like, hey, you know, I have pain and I need help. If they tell you this response, you're not going to ask them, gotcha, man, where are you trying to be in 6 months from now? It's like, no. You told me this pain point. Like, while you're sulking in the pain, I'm either going to bring the knife in, I'm going to like stab you and dig it and go harder into it, or I'm going to offer to book the call right now. Okay, so understand that all you're looking for is this. You're looking for pain. And this is pain. Oh, it's going all right? Oh, it's going all right is not pain. And you have to keep going. So let's say again, they say, oh, it's been going all right. Awesome. I'm going to ask another question. We already said, you know, what do you do? How's that been going for you? Got you, man. You know, it's going all right. I need to understand what that means, right? Where are you currently at revenue-wise? Way more direct. Where it's like, hey, we're getting specific now. Oh, you know, we are at 10K. Got it, man. Got it. Still don't have a pain point. So I'm going to go even harder. Where are you trying to take the business to 6 months from now? Again, more direct. Oh, you know, we want to get to 50K a month, let's say. Boom. Now what have we created? We have created a bridge, right? And he's told us, hey, we are at 10K current situation, and we want to get to 50. desired situation. So now we need to figure out why are they not there yet? Okay? And that's the next even more direct question that we're going to be asking. So I might ask, we've created a bridge. Like, hey, we know that they're not revealing a pain to us that like what they've been doing isn't working, but we know that they are at a certain point and they want to get to this point. So I'm just curious, what do you think is stopping you from getting to 50? Would love to see how I could help out, or I might be able to help out. Again, super direct, to the point. We're trying to get them on a call. And they say, honestly, the content, let's say, hasn't been working, and boom, 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 boom. Got you. Now you go for the booking. Because we got the ammunition, we got the thing that's going to get them to click our Calendly link, book a call, and then show up and then buy from us. We need a pain point. And we use friction-based questions to not scare prospects off, but get an understanding of where they're at until they reveal a pain point, and we go more and more direct until they give us that thing. So I hope this is making sense for point 2 here, and now you can see how this intertwines with the ACA framework, because now you know what questions to be asking, right? What's the next step? And now the third step that we're covering is matching their vibe. Now this is a very, very simple step. And honestly, I'm not going to draw too much about this, but this is so incredibly important. If you don't do this, you're going to freaking mess up and leave so much money on the table. You need to match the prospect's vibe. This is self-explanatory, but if you don't do this, you're going to fail. What do I mean? If somebody opens up to you, and let's say you ask them, how's that been going for you? And again, they tell you all this stuff. It's been going terrible. I'm in debt, and, my mom's going to be homeless, and like boom, 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 boom. You're not going to say, okay, cool, got you. Next question. No. This, matching their vibe, is how you understand how to do the acknowledging section. Okay? You need to be able to acknowledge the same way that they're kind of giving off their vibe. So if they give you this whole story and they send you 3 paragraphs over the DMs, match their vibe. And send them an in-depth, very thought-out message to acknowledge where they're at. I'll give you another example. Let's say you're dealing with a prospect that's just giving you one-word answers. Yes, okay, we're at, he just says like we're at 10K, nothing stopping us. And you have a lot of these prospects, right? These are the guys that have their guard up. They have their guard up and they don't want to open up. The last thing you should do to these prospects is not match their vibe and send them all these paragraphs about how you can help them and boom, boom, boom. Like, no, that's not how you match their vibe. You need to match their vibe. If they're giving you one-word responses, you give them one-word responses back. Again, very, very similar to dating. If you're talking to a chick in the DMs and you're sending her a freaking love letter in the DMs and she says, that's cool. It's like, dude, what are you doing, bro? You have to match her vibe, right? Play it cool. It's the same thing with prospects, okay? You can't sound desperate. You can't sound needy. We'll go into the fourth point here in a second. But you have to match their vibe. They're giving you one-word responses. Give one-word responses back. Don't push when they are pulling away, okay? So it's so incredibly, incredibly important. So again, make sure you match the prospect's vibe in the DMs the same way you do if you're dating or trying to, go on a date. Now, the last and final step is so incredibly important, and it ties into number 3 as well, but it's to bring the whole framework together, and it's attract, don't chase. You don't want to be chasing prospects down. When you're chasing people down, you seem desperate, and people could see that through the way that you're DMing them. When you're pushing for the call, when you're pushing to, get them to buy, people won't buy. Again, when you and the prospects here, you have to like play a dance with them, okay? And the last thing you want to do is like push on them super hard, and then they're pushing like the other way, and they're like, hey, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Instead, you need to be able to attract them where they're coming back to you, and they're matching your vibe back. Okay? And this looks simple, but in reality, this all comes back down to your marketing and the way you've built your business. That's why one of the biggest things that I focus on and that my clients do is we stack recurring revenue. Why do we do this instead of paid in fulls? Very simple. I have a whole video explaining this. You can go check it out on my channel. The reason we do recurring revenue is because we want to focus on our current clients instead of, saying screw them and going to look for the next pay in full and going and chasing the next client. So when you're in this state where like, hey, as long as I serve my current clients, I'm getting paid, cool. That means now I can actually attract my clients. I can let them come to me and I don't have to chase them down. So again, this is something that I follow and it's helped me so much in my setting process because I don't care to pull out, right? And like, we're pulling out. What do I mean by this? When you're in the DMs with someone and they're giving you one-word responses and you're trying to match their vibe, like pull out. Be like, dude, it's cool, man. Like I don't need to work with you. I don't need the money. I say that all the time because I don't. Why? Because I have recurring revenue. I got my guys. I have my circle. I got my tribe. I got my boys. So I'm not afraid to pull out of the conversation, pull away, rather. I think that sounds better. Pull away. Why don't we just pull away? And then when we pull away and we're going this way in the conversation and not like ignoring them, not ignoring them, but not chasing them down. They're like, whoa, 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 this guy isn't chasing me down. What's going on? Now instead of them going this way, they're coming back around this way. And they're saying, hey, Christian doesn't care if I pay him. Christian cares about his clients. Christian cares to serve me. Christian cares if I'm qualified to work with him. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now I want the opportunity to work with Christian. And again, like this is also the power in having a wait list for your stuff. I'll give you an example. My girl and I, we're going to an event. It's like a festival type thing. I don't normally go to festivals. This is like my first one that I'm ever going to, but it's here in Joya Beach in Miami. And it's in December, and we wanted to get tickets. We wanted to go with her and her friends, and I thought it'd be a good time. Turns out the event has a wait list, right? They have a wait list, and guess what? Them having a wait list made us question if we were going to be able to even pay them to go. And I was thinking about this exact concept in my business as we were going through this. We were so determined. We got together and I'm like, babe, like we're going to this, like it's going to be so much fun. Boom, 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 boom. And then we go to get the tickets and it's like, wait, there's a wait list and all the tickets are sold out. If someone pulls out, then you could get a ticket. That increases demand. Very simple supply and demand. Why? So when supply is low, demand's high. Boom, this is how we get this beautiful combination. So when you create a wait list and add some scarcity and some urgency into your offer, people want it more. Okay, so demand's high for these tickets, but the supply of the tickets is low and there's a wait list. And when you create a wait list, people want it even more. So don't be scared to make a wait list or close your doors for a little bit. That's something I've been experimenting with and it's been, helping me so much with attracting clients to me. But I hope you understand these 4 pillars. This is how I've been able to book hundreds of appointments. I follow this framework for every single conversation. I acknowledge, compliment, ask a question. We went over how to ask a question with friction-based questions. And we went over how to acknowledge by making sure we're matching their vibe. We went over how I attract and not need to chase down clients. And so that's the full exact thing. If you want help from me, you could hit up my DMs and you can go down below, but I might not have every spot open, right? Wink, wink, waitlist. But I'll see you in the next video. Hope you got value. Make sure to subscribe. Peace out.